Matikela, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about, there's something wrong with my eyes today. Something is very wrong with my eyes today. They've been crying, okay, ever since I woke up. I'm not sure what is that all about. So I've been having crying eyes, and I'm not going to allow them to derail me from doing my videos because I've been washing my face. Okay, I've been washing my face, and this is worrisome. I know. Now, let's talk about Ulishebane and Advocate Baloyi. Something happened the other day. Before we go to today, I'm going to do a live for today because I need people to hear me, see me when I speak to them about what happened in court on the 26th of October, which was on Tuesday, right? So now what happened was that on Monday, there's something that was happening there. We saw a moment, if you were not paying attention, inside inside the sense of Mayweather, something that most people perhaps missed, but I doubt. I don't know, but okay, here it is. You saw the moment where Advocate Baloyi, George Baloyi, did something very unusual there because Baloyi is one person that is always uh, fishing, trying to find out situations, etc., etc. Now, he did not just object, he didn't just redirect, he cut off the witness. Not just any witness, generally Shebane, because this is where the courtroom stopped being about questions and started being about control. General Shebane was in the middle of answering. He was building context. He was about to explain something deeper. And suddenly he started mentioning another name, Advocate Chauke. And that's when everything changed. Baloyi didn't wait. He didn't let the answer land. He stepped in immediately. That's not the question. Answer what you are being asked. Don't go there. Now pause right there. Let's pause right there because in that courtroom, that kind of interruption tells you something. It tells you the answer is going somewhere dangerous for Ubaloyi. And you will ask yourself a simple question. Why would a senior SEPS general suddenly bring up an advocate in the middle of testimony about an investigation? That is not a random situation. That is not confusion. That's a connection there, connecting the dots. Now, let's be clear. Legally, Baloyi, yes, can do that, but a cross-examiner controls a witness, yes, we understand. He can force yes or no answers. He can stop a witness from going beyond the scope. That's normal. But this didn't feel normal. What was happening there was not normal because this wasn't just about relevance. This felt like containment. Something was happening there. Because if Lishebane finishes that sentence, we might have heard who was influencing the investigation, who was present in key discussions, who may have been shaping the direction of the evidence. And suddenly, this case is no longer just about the 5 IQs in the dock. It becomes about who was behind the narrative from the beginning. And that is where things get uncomfortable. Mind you, Lishebane is referring to 2015, 2015, 2016, somewhere there. Yes. 2015, 2016, somewhere there. He is referring to those years. Now, remember, this is not happening in isolation. We already have Zungu controversial breakthrough. The breakthrough, ne? Yes. System that is questionable. And we also have the statements that appear years later, allegations of pressure and intimidation, two investigation parts, intruders versus inside job. Now imagine adding this to that picture, legal figures possibly being mentioned inside investigative processes. Do you see the problem? Because if that door opens, yes, you are no longer just asking one question of what's going on here, what happened to that investigation. Did the accused commit this crime? That's the question now. Because what we are seeing or questioning was this case of 636 and the current IQs constructed. What's going on here? And that is a completely different trial now. Now look at Lishebane's behavior. He didn't look confused. He didn't look like someone guessing what he was about to say. He sounded like someone trying to explain something important and being stopped mid-sentence. That moment matters because in court, sometimes the most important evidence is what is prevented from being said. Now, if we go deeper into that, if Baloyi allows that answer, he loses control of the cross-examination. The narrative shifts instantly. And instead of your statement is inconsistent, it becomes there are things happening inside the record. And once the court starts thinking like that, everything changes. Every statement, every confession, every piece of evidence gets viewed through a new lens. Was this organic or was it guided? Now, Ubaloyi has that situation whereby now he needs to defend his own self now from the entire situation. That is the risk Ubaloyi was facing in real time, and he reacted instantly. But here's the part that should make us pause as people that are watching the Senzo Meyiwa case. Lishebane still tried to push. He still tried to bring that context in, which tells you something very important. He believes that those details matters a lot. He believes that that name of Chauke and that situation that happened in Chauke's house matters a lot. And now that becomes a question. Why is he thinking that if he speaks about Chauke, something is going to come out of that? Because witnesses don't randomly introduce advocates into a testimony, especially not senior officers. In fact, perhaps there is something that is sitting there. There is something that is sitting there. So what was he saying about what role did Advocate Chauke play? Why was that connection so sensitive for Ubaloyi? And that it had to be stopped immediately. Those questions are now hanging in that courtroom unanswered. And make no mistake, the defense saw it. The judge saw it, and the public definitely saw that. Because sometimes a case don't collapse because of what is proven. It collapses because of what starts to peek through cracks. And right now, those cracks are getting wider. The trial is no longer just about evidence. It's about who controls the story of that evidence. And on that day in court, for a few seconds, control almost slipped. So Ubaloyi is frustrated right now. Hence, yesterday on Tuesday, because this was Monday, this thing of him preventing General from talking about Advocate Chauke. And there is a lot that is lying on that Advocate Chauke's name. And Baloyi knows it. Oh, Baloyi knows it, guys. Baloyi knows Uguti. Mentioning Chauke is a time bomb on its own. So that is why he was preventing all of that. I don't blame him. Who wants to crack his own case and also bring something that is going to on his own? No, the defense can ask him that question. I understand where Baloyi is coming from when it comes to why would I put myself under a moving train? Why would I throw myself out of the window of a moving train? Okay, why would you do that? So I guess I understand him. But now the curiosity is like, what is it about this man that Baloyi does not want us to know? That question is lingering now. I'm one of those people that are deadly curious about it. And I want the defense to come back to that point and tell us what exactly was that all about. I'm one of those people, guys. I don't want to even sit here and lie to you and pretend as if I'm not one of them. I am one of those people who are like, what the hell happened there? What on earth happened? Because General Uti, when they came back from KZN to interview Umthokozi Sithwala, then they went to Advocate Chauke's house. Why did he call them to his house? And the other issue for me, these people are from Limpopo. They are originally from Limpopo. Baloyi is originally from Limpopo, whether Giyani or wherever, but that Baloyi's name is originally from Limpopo. Abo Chauke are also from Limpopo. Ukuthi they are based in Pretoria or Joburg right now. They are there for work. But originally, they are all from Limpopo. Lishebane from Limpopo, Kimpedi Lishebane. Ubaloyi no Chauke, what you call Tsonga. They are Tsonga people. Tsonga men, those two. Now there is something going on there that one needs to be. And the defense, I'm sure they are going to ask on our behalf. So let's wait and see what is the defense going to find out. What happened at Chauke's house? I'll be very disappointed. It's not even a huge deal. I will be very, very disappointed if it's not nothing big. Then Ubalo stopped it as if it's gonna break his case. What are your thoughts when it comes to that? Let's come together in the comment section and talk about it. I'll see you on our next video. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.